You're watching Missouri Western Television. This month on Western Reports, we're going to focus on the School of Business and highlight some great hands-on learning opportunities that happened through Western over the past month. Stay tuned for this and more. Thanks for joining us. I'm Mallory Edson. Western Stephen L. Craig School of Business has reached a huge milestone. In April, the school achieved accreditation from the Association to Advanced Collegiate Schools of Business, joining some of the finest business schools in the world. We speak to Interim Dean Carol Raver and some business students about the importance of this accreditation for the business school. Why don't you start off by telling us just a little bit about the School of Business and how we got the accreditation?
Well, the School of Business was established in May of 2008 with a gift from Stephen L. Craig of $5.5 million. And we offer four majors: accounting, finance, marketing, and management. We have about 880 students at Missouri Western who are either business majors or who want to become business majors. Mm-hmm. The accreditation process began over 10 years ago with Dr. Larry Lawson, who was chair of the then Department of Business, and we entered what's called the pre-accreditation stage at AACSB International, where we submit a plan for accreditation, and it's reviewed by a committee, carefully reviewed, and once the committee is satisfied with that plan, then they tell us we may enter the pre-accreditation process. And once we are through that process, we are approved to go into the initial accreditation process, which is the first time that a school is accredited. Schools can be accredited for their undergraduate business programs, which is what we have. They may also be accredited for a special accounting program and for graduate programs. But Missouri Western's Craig School of Business is one of only 48 schools that have accreditation for undergraduate-only programs. Mm-hmm. This past weekend in Anaheim, California, was the International Convention for AACSB. And I think 14 schools achieved initial accreditation, and only 4 in the United States. And we are one of those 4 schools. The rest were international schools. Now that we have achieved initial accreditation, which is really the toughest accreditation, we are on a 5-year plan for review every 5 years to maintain that accreditation. So we are eager to keep improving our school. We have a new dean who has been hired, who will begin July 1. And we're just excited to go into the future and create an even stronger and better School of Business.
So what's the accreditation mean for students now?
Well, accreditation by AACSB International is really the seal of quality. So that means that the Craig School of Business at Missouri Western is in the same league with other schools that are well recognized throughout the world. Mm-hmm. Actually, it's not limited to schools in the U.S., but the schools that you would think of that are big business schools, Harvard, Stanford, Duke, University of Chicago, these schools are all accredited by AACSB International. In our case, it means that we had to demonstrate that we met 17 standards that are created by AACSB International and that are required for accreditation. That we have the resources to maintain our programs, and that we offer a quality program. After we were accepted into the initial accreditation process, we had to submit in September of 2009 what's called a self-evaluation report, which describes the school and explains how we meet all the 17 standards. So we submitted that report. In the meantime, a team of business deans that will review our program were chosen. So they read our self-evaluation report, and then they decide if we deserve a visit by them to our campus. Then in February, they came here for 2.5 days, and the visit was, I would say, pretty intense. Mm-hmm. The visit involved talking to faculty committees, talking to all the untenured faculty in the School of Business, without the dean present, without any administrators present. It involved talking to different faculty committees. It involved reviewing our processes to see if what we put in the self-evaluation report is actually what happens here. Mm-hmm. They also wanted to talk to students, so they talked to students in two venues. One was a strategic management class, the capstone class for our program. So all three members of the team went into that class, asked the professor to leave, and talked to the students for over an hour, asking them what they liked about our program, what they would change, what they learned in that class. Mm-hmm. Then the second venue was a meeting with about a dozen students identified by the faculty, where the students were alone in a room with the three reviewers, and they talked to them and asked them again questions about our program. So it involved faculty, meeting with students, meeting with other units on campus. So they met with someone from career services, from student services, from the library. They met with the president's cabinet to just ask questions about our School of Business.
Now we're going to talk to a couple of students. What was your involvement in the accreditation process?
It was actually pretty interesting. For me, I started with a small group of students, and we got together in our summer time, just our free time, with a couple professors and discussed this AACSB accreditation thing. And it was sort of this up in the air thing that we really didn't know much about, but we discussed our expectations, what we wanted to see from our education and from the faculty, and then we did a mock interview a year ago, and then a formal interview this year. So,
all right. Mark, yours?
My involvement was somewhat limited. I wasn't around for Mima's portion of getting to chat and talk about the accreditation, but I was in the capstone course this past spring, Management 419, with Dr. Faye Smith, and the accreditation team came and wanted to interview our class as a whole, since it was the capstone course and we were all seniors getting ready to graduate. And apparently a lot of weight lied on our interview. So they drilled us with questions for about an hour and a half, actually, and were very involved, very interested in what we had to say. So it was very neat. We got to meet some very interesting deans from several colleges, and very nice people. And what was really neat about them was they were volunteers for the accreditation process. They were not getting paid for this, and they were just taking personal time away from their positions at their respective colleges to come interview us for the accreditation process.
So now that we have the accreditation, what does that mean for students coming into the school and both already at the school?
I think that for students, what we'll begin to see is that the bigger organizations that are going to start to interview us are going to look down and they're going to see that accreditation and really be impressed. And some organizations I know will only take applicants from accredited colleges. So for me, that's fantastic. That's a good quality, as Mark said, stamp of approval, and you know that what you're getting is a good quality product, and that's us. The other thing that I think we'll see is that the university as a whole will get more outside investment. We're going to have better quality education, the tools that we can use, and the classrooms and things like that are going to develop because of this accreditation. And most importantly, this isn't something that AACSB is going to just give us and then walk away. They are going to make sure that we are constantly upholding these standards. And so for me, I know that the college that I went to and the college that my baby brother is going to go to is going to constantly be improving and keeping and upholding that standard.
Well, thank you two for being here today.
Thanks.
Thank you.
We really appreciate it.
We'll be right back with your campus news update.
Do you ever wonder what goes on in the arts community in St. Joseph? There's a lot to offer, and Missouri Western's newest show, Artbeat, will highlight the cultural community in St. Joe. We'll bring you theater, music, museums, art, activities for kids, and much, much more. I'm Stacy Park. Please join me for Artbeat on Missouri Western Television at the times you see here. You can also watch us on the web at missouriwestern.edu/artbeat.
Discover Gold at Missouri Western State University, now offering graduate degrees to advance your career in teaching, chemistry, media arts, IT management, and more. Missouri Western offers you convenient and affordable quality education with real-world experience. Discover Graduate Gold at Missouri Western State University. Information available at 816-271-4364.
Welcome back. The 30th Annual Great Plains Student Psychology Convention was held at Western in the end of March. Dr. Brian Kronk, Professor of Psychology and Convention Coordinator, spoke to us about what this convention offers for our students.
Missouri Western was really fortunate back at the end of March to be the host of the 30th Annual Great Plains Regional Psychology Convention. It's a student convention that has been going on for 30 years, obviously. It started in Nebraska and Kansas. It has grown now to be 7 different states, and it was fairly prestigious for Missouri Western to be the 30th. We'd previously hosted the 20th and 10th annual conferences, and every 10 years we seem to take it up a step and make it better for the next 10 years. Many institutions, especially in psychology, have their students do research projects, and sometimes students aren't fully aware of the quality of work or the type of work that students at other institutions are doing. And this gives them an opportunity to interact with students from other schools and see what kinds of things they are working on. The keynote speakers serve several functions. One of the functions is they provide an incentive for more students and more faculty to come. At an individual institutional level, many of these speakers are far too expensive for an institution to hire to come and talk. And by pooling our resources together at a conference like this, we can get speakers that are nationally known and wouldn't be available for an individual institution. They also provide the students with a way to hear what they hear in classes from their faculty from someone who has a little different perspective. You know, if I go into a class and talk about sleep, the students just say, oh yeah, that's just Dr. Kronk. I don't need to listen to him. I can stay up till 4 in the morning. But if James Moss from Cornell comes in, and he's the world's first and foremost expert on sleep, and he gives them the same message, it's much more likely to sink in.
For 2 weekends in April, Missouri Western student organizations joined together to create a groundbreaking volunteer project, Murals for Minds. The Griffin Art Society joined with student government officers and many other student groups to paint murals in the halls of Mark Twain Elementary School. Here's a look at what the students accomplished.
Well, WAC is the sister branch of Student Government Association, so we're definitely obligated to come out here this weekend and help. And all of us are really big on community service, so all of us just felt like it was a definite need to come. Well, I think this is a good idea on Josh's behalf. I remember back in January when he brought this up in EBOR, and I thought it was a really good thing to do because I really like kids, and I thought this was really good to connect with the community because there's not too much of community and Missouri Western established. So I think this is a really good networking basis, and I think it's great, and I think the kids will appreciate it when they come back to school on Monday. It's like a family, so it's definitely been fun.
I showed up at 8 this morning, and they put me in charge of like having some of the Mark Twain students to get creative and paint, not the murals necessarily, but so they can paint too. They were painting on these large pieces of paper, and some of them did a pretty good job. It's going. All the murals look really good in my opinion. So I think this is a good idea that the SGA put it on. So hopefully we can continue that in the future.
We had some great volunteers working with us. The painting actually went by a lot faster than we were planning on it. So our volunteers were great, and we definitely had enough, and they were doing a great job. So we really appreciate the volunteers' help.
The 4th Annual Women's Leadership Summit was held at Western for a weekend. The summit was an educational experience for many women and men about issues impacting the self-worth of women. We talked to a coordinator and an attendee about the benefits of the conference.
This is our 4th Annual Global Women's Leadership Summit. And the purpose of it is just to get together with women in the community as well as campus to discuss issues that women face both in our current society, being United States, as well as abroad. And so every year we also try to incorporate issues that are happening on a global level dealing with women. We are the Center for Multicultural Education here at Missouri Western State University, but we do this conference in conjunction with several other organizations. We work with the YWCA of Greater St. Joseph for this particular summit and hopefully for the future. We work with the social work department here at Missouri Western, as well as other sponsoring organizations. Our Career Development Center, our Residential Life, Office of Residential Life also worked with us this year, as well as our Division of Student Affairs. We have a great variety of presenters and workshop topics. We had Lavelle Rucker, who had some personal experiences that she discussed today, and just talking about the importance of having self-worth and self-esteem. Falana Blakely will be discussing what the definition of self-worth is, because we have so many different definitions. We also have Stan Pearson, who is also an alum of Missouri Western, and he is actually conducting our men's workshop. It's a half-day workshop where men from campus as well as the community will talk about definitions of manhood. What does it mean to be a man in this society? Where do we get where do men get messages from on how to be a man and what a man is? They will also discuss how do they support the women in their lives and helping to build their self-esteem.
I am a true believer in encouraging and empowering women, and especially early on at a young age, the girls who need to know who they are and that they have value and that they have worth, so that they will be able to become productive individuals, feel good about themselves, and to be able to, follow their goals and dreams, even set goals and dreams, because lots of times we're searching for value and not knowing who we are, and it puts us down a search maybe of a wrong path, or we get into roadblocks or derailed as we're going down this path, trying to find out who we are. And so early on, I believe that individuals, male and female, need to be encouraged and empowered and to have help to know that they have value and that they have worth. I'm just really appreciative of the Multicultural Center and the work and the efforts that they do and the service that Missouri Western University provides to our community, because this was opened up to the college students but also to the community, and so many were able to come in and to also learn and to share and to grow together through the venue of Missouri Western State University.
President Varda Bedian has signed a proposal for a fall break. Instead of having a midterm break and a Thanksgiving break, Western will now just have 1 week-long break over the Thanksgiving holiday. An architect and banker have been chosen for the new housing development on the Western campus. The Board of Governors selected Ellison Auxier Architects, Incorporated of St. Joseph to design and provide construction oversight for a new residential complex on the Western campus. The board also selected St. Louis-based Edward Jones as the investment banker for the project. Congratulations to the yearbook staff. The 2009 Griffin Yearbook has been selected as one of the top yearbooks in the country by Associated Collegiate Press, which has named the Missouri Western State University Yearbook as one of 14 Pacemaker finalists. Jay Nixon has appointed Junior Business Administration major Peter Gregory of St. Joseph as the student representative to the Missouri Western State University Board of Governors. Reappointed is Dirk Clark, a 1985 graduate. This month, our Alumni Spotlight is on Clark, who currently holds the position of Chief Business Development Officer at Heartland Health in St. Joseph.
I am the Chief Development Officer for Heartland Health. Heartland is a hospital system based here in St. Joe, a little over 3,000 employees. I'm responsible for 4 areas. First, as the strategic planner for the organization. Second area is responsible for our outreach. So the 18 county secondary service area going into Kansas, Iowa, and Nebraska, where our patients come from, our clinics and our joint ventures with other hospitals in those more rural areas. Third area is education. We train first, third, and fourth year medical students from the University of Missouri here at Heartland. And finally, I function as our lobbyist. My background also is in politics, and so I monitor and back and forth to Washington quite often. On the side, I serve as the chairman of Board of Governors of Missouri Western. Been on the board about 5 years, which has just been a tremendous experience. I had a great experience at Missouri Western. I had smaller classes. A lot of my friends went to larger universities where they started off with lecture halls of 400 to 500 students or classes that were taught by a TA. My experience was I had small classes, typically taught with a professor with a doctorate. And so it was a great experience from that standpoint. I was very involved in a fraternity, so I had that aspect of college life as well. So it was a great experience at Western. And then you move outside of academics, and you have to think about the Kansas City Chiefs training camp. The great thing about that program is the Kansas City Chiefs are here 3 weeks out of the year, or they will be. Our students, Missouri Western students, get the use of that facility for the other 49 weeks out of the year. This indoor training facility is ginormous. It is big enough that we could host 2 women's softball games simultaneously indoors in that building. So if you think about how that can be used, women's softball, men's baseball, soccer, and those programs now have a place all winter long to be out in the grass and practice. Missouri Western students the same. There will be additional classroom space in that building, intramural programs that typically you have to wait till the weather warms up in the spring. We can run those programs, intramural soccer and those kind of programs, all summer long, in addition to the other parts of the upgrades to the stadium, which will be very beneficial. It's a great time. Remember that countries like China and countries like that have over 1 billion people are now graduating more and more college students. And it's becoming a worldwide market for college graduates. And so it is becoming more important every year to have a college degree. So that's one side. The other side about where to go to get your degree, as I said before, Missouri Western, we had small classes, professors that had a lot of real-world experience, in addition to a PhD teaching a class of maybe 25, 30 students. The excitement of having the Kansas City Chiefs here, the facility upgrades like with Remington Hall for science. Dr. Vardy-Bedian has a real interest, as do I, in upgrades to the fine arts programs, campus beautification, which Dr. Vardy-Bedian is working on now. It's just a great time to be at Western. And I think the proof in that is we've had 4 straight years of record-setting enrollment at Western, and it looks like the fall is going to be the same, possibly moving us above 6,000 students.
Here's your Money Minute with Matt Brock from Edward Jones.
Well, hello. Today I want to briefly talk to you about what we recently experienced through 2008 and 2009 as far as the market and the economy. What we saw was not quite a financial meltdown, but very close to a situation that could have resulted in a second Great Depression. We believe that was circumvented. We did suffer through a recession. Some of the actions taken by the federal government, while unpopular to some, we do believe have helped put us in a situation where the recovery will be a little more appropriate to the situation that we experienced. We're not saying that the markets will skyrocket back to highest valuations, but we do believe that the economy is stabilized and under control, and that investors who look for appropriate places to invest their money should experience a successful year. The key, as always, is proper diversification and doing your homework. Make sure that if you do have investments or you're considering investments, that you research those thoroughly, speak to a financial advisor or financial professional to determine If that type of investment is appropriate for you, based on your need, the timeline that you have to allow that money to stay invested, and your risk tolerance, how much fluctuation are you comfortable experiencing with the investments that you have? If we are to focus on those items and continue to keep a measured pace with applying ourselves by investing continually, whether that's a few dollars or a significant dollar amount, we should find that this year will be a successful year for investors to see a return to value and growth on their investment dollars. Thank you.
With summer just a few weeks away, we asked students about their summer plans. Their answers are this month's buzz.
This summer I'm going to the Caribbean with my mom, and I'm going to Washington with some friends.
This summer I'm probably going to be working a lot, and then I'm going to Washington to visit one of my friends. This summer I'm going to Disney World.
And now for your upcoming events. Commencement ceremonies are on Saturday, May 15th in the Looney Complex. The Guitar Fest final competition is Sunday, May 23rd at 12 p.m. in Potter Theater. Walk-in registration for summer classes is on Thursday, May 27th at 2:30 p.m. in Murphy. Want to dance for Western Athletics? Try out for the Mystics dance team on Saturday, June 12th, 8 a.m. in Looney. Summer classes begin on June 1st and June 28th. For the most current events at Western, check out www.missouriwestern.edu. We're out of time for this May edition of Western Reports. Be sure to watch us on Missouri Western Television every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday at 7 p.m. and Saturdays at 10 a.m. or online at missouriwestern.edu/imc/news. If you have any suggestions for our program, please email us at television@missouriwestern.edu. New programs air at the beginning of each month. I'm Mallory Edson. Thanks for watching.